Good morning, students. Today's topic is fatty acid catabolism. Introduction. After digestion of lipids, fatty acids so formed are stored as triacylglycerol. For the catabolism of fatty acids, they are mobilized from triacylglycerol and then they are oxidized to meet the energy needs of a cell. In lean individuals, by the process of lipolysis of defined lipids, fatty acids are produced, which are circulated with albumin in the blood circulation, and this fatty acid is taken up by the cells, which undergo reacidification to either form ceramide or diacylglycerol or triacylglycerol. Then again there will be lipolysis and fatty acids are removed, and these fatty acids undergo complete oxidation in lean individuals. In obese individuals, the initial process is the same. By lipolysis, fatty acid is taken up by the cells which undergoes reacidification, and since there is surplus amount of triacylglycerol, there will be incomplete fatty acid oxidation. There are many ways by which the fatty acids in the liver are metabolized. They can be stored as liver lipids. They can undergo beta oxidation to form acetyl coenzyme A, which can enter the TCA cycle to form reducing acetates, which enters the oxidative phosphorylation to form ATP and energy. The extra amount of acetyl coenzyme A can undergo ketogenesis to form ketone bodies. They can form cholesterol, which can ultimately form bile salts and steroid hormones. They can be incorporated in the plasma lipoproteins and delivered to the peripheral tissues, and they can be circulated in the blood as free fatty acids. Mobilization of fatty acids. Hydrolysis of triacylglycerol by lipase to fatty acids and glycerol occurs, which is called lipolysis. Insulin inhibits the process of lipolysis. Lipolysis is induced by hormones like epinephrine and norepinephrine, glucagon, adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH. Here in this picture, we can see when there is low insulin and high epinephrine, epinephrine is attached to the receptor on the cell surface, which activates the enzyme adenylyl cyclase, which break down ATP to cyclic AMP, which in turn activates protein kinase enzyme, causing phosphorylation of inactive hormone sensitive lipase to form active hormone sensitive lipase. This hormone sensitive lipase causes lipolysis or breakdown of triacylglycerol into diacylglycerol and fatty acid. Fatty acids released from hydrolysis of triacylglycerol are insoluble in blood plasma, so these are transported by binding with serum albumin. And then they are made available as a fuel in other tissues. Fats of glycerol. Glycerol released in adipose tissue cannot be metabolized by adipocytes because adipocytes lack glycerol kinase enzyme. This glycerol is absorbed by the liver and phosphorylated to glycerol 3-phosphate. It is oxidized to dihydroxyacetone phosphate and then isomerized to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is then converted to pyruvate by glycolysis or to glucose by gluconeogenesis in the liver. So glycerol is phosphorylated by the enzyme glycerol kinase with the help of ATP to form glycerol 3-phosphate. Glycerol 3-phosphate is acted upon by the enzyme glycerol phosphate dehydrogenase with the help of coenzyme NAD to form dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which undergoes isomerization by the enzyme triphosphate isomerase to form glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is an intermediate of both gluconeogenesis and glycolysis. So it can form either glucose or pyruvate. Oxidation of fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids are oxidized by beta oxidation, which is the principal pathway, or peroxisomal fatty acid oxidation, or alpha oxidation, or omega oxidation. Beta oxidation of fatty acids. In beta oxidation, two carbon units are sequentially removed beginning from the carboxyl terminal end. Stages of beta oxidation are: first is activation of fatty acid, then transport across the mitochondrial membrane, then beta oxidation proper. Activation of fatty acid. Before being catabolized, free fatty acids must be converted to an active fatty acid called acyl coenzyme A in the cytosol in the presence of ATP, coenzyme A, acyl coenzyme A synthetase or thiokinase enzyme, Several thiokinase enzymes have been described, each specific for fatty acids of different chain length. So in this reaction, fatty acid combines with coenzyme A in presence of ATP and water to form acyl coenzyme A, AMP, inorganic phosphate, and two hydrogen atoms. Carnitine transport system of long-chain fatty acids. Activated long-chain fatty acids cannot cross the inner mitochondrial membrane, so they are carried by a compound called carnitine. Carnitine is a compound formed from lysine and methionine in liver and kidney. Carnitine is widely distributed and is particularly abundant in muscle. The chemical name of carnitine is beta-hydroxy gamma trimethyl ammonium deuterate. Acyl group of acyl coenzyme is transferred to the carnitine to form acyl carnitine. It is catalyzed by the enzyme carnitine acyltransferase 1 or CAT1. This enzyme is located on the cytosolic phase of the inner mitochondrial membrane. Acyl carnitine is then transported across the inner mitochondrial membrane by an enzyme known as translocase. Acyl group is then transferred back to coenzyme A in the mitochondrial matrix by the enzyme CAT2. It is located on the inside of the inner mitochondrial membrane. Biochemical abnormality related to carnitine. Carnitine deficiency limits the transfer of long-chain fatty acids to the interior of mitochondria, wherein muscle fatty acids provide a major source of energy. Fatty acids that cannot be transported accumulate within muscle cell cytosol. As a result, muscle capacity for repeated contraction is reduced. Since an increased proportion of muscle energy must then be derived from glucose, and the supply of glucose may not be sufficient for continued contraction, muscle weakness during prolonged exercise is an important characteristic of a deficiency of carnitine acyltransferase, because muscle relies on fatty acids as long-term source of energy. In this diagram, we can see acyl coenzyme combines with carnitine to form acyl carnitine with the help of the enzyme carnitine acyltransferase 1 or CAT1 or carnityl palmitoyl transferase 1 or CPT1 when the fatty acid is palmitic acid. This acyl carnitine traverses the outer mitochondrial membrane and inner mitochondrial membrane through the enzyme translocase, and acyl carnitine is again broken down into acyl coenzyme and carnitine catalyzed by the enzyme CAT2 or CPT2. Then carnitine again comes back to its original position to carry out the next reaction. Malonyl coenzyme A inhibits CPT1, thus preventing the entry of long-chain acyl groups into the mitochondrial matrix. Therefore, when fatty acid synthesis is occurring in the cytosol, as indicated by the presence of malonyl coenzyme A, the newly made palmitate cannot be transferred into the mitochondria and degraded. Fatty acid oxidation reactions. In beta oxidation, two carbons are cleaved at a time from acyl coenzyme molecules starting at the carboxyl end. The chain is broken between the alpha, that is carbon number 2, and the beta, that is carbon number 3. Hence, the name is beta oxidation. The two carbon units formed is acetyl coenzyme. In this picture, we can see the beta oxidation of palmitoyl coenzyme A, the active form of the 16 carbon fatty acid palmitic acid. This is the carboxyl end, and the beta oxidation starts at the beta carbon, that is carbon number 3, and the two carbon units in the form of acetyl coenzyme A is released. It starts between alpha and beta carbon and goes on, and after 7 cycles of beta oxidation we get 8 numbers of acetyl coenzyme A. A saturated acyl coenzyme is degraded by a sequence of 4 reactions. Number 1 is oxidation by FAD, next is hydration reaction, then oxidation by NAD and thiolysis. Oxidation by FAD. The first reaction in each round of degradation is oxidation of acyl coenzyme A by an acyl coenzyme dehydrogenase to give trans-enol coenzyme A with a trans double bond between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3. The coenzyme for this dehydrogenase enzyme is FAD, which is converted to FADH2. Here we can see the reaction. Acyl coenzyme A is oxidized by acyl coenzyme dehydrogenase, and it is FAD linked enzyme to form trans delta 2 enoyl coenzyme A, and FADH2 is formed. Next reaction is hydration. There is hydration of the double bond between carbon number 2 and carbon number 3 by enoyl coenzyme A hydratase enzyme to form 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A. Here we can see the reaction where trans delta 2 enoyl coenzyme A is hydrated to form L3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A or beta hydroxyacyl coenzyme A. Oxidation by NAD. The 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A undergoes second oxidation by 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase enzyme, and this reaction forms 3-ketoacyl coenzyme A and generates NADH. Here we can see the reaction where 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A is oxidized to form 3-ketoacyl coenzyme A and NADH is generated. The last reaction in a cycle is thiolasis. 3-ketoacyl coenzyme A gets split at the beta carbon by thiolase enzyme yielding acetyl coenzyme A and an acyl coenzyme A. This acyl coenzyme A is shorter by 2 carbon atoms than the original acyl coenzyme A that underwent the oxidation. This shortened acyl coenzyme A re-enters the oxidative pathway at reaction catalyzed by acyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase again. In this way, a long-chain fatty acid degraded completely to acetyl coenzyme A, which then can be oxidized to carbon dioxide and water via TCA cycle. So in this reaction, we can see the 3-ketoacyl coenzyme A having n number of carbon atoms combines with coenzyme A to form 2-carbon acetyl coenzyme A and an acyl coenzyme A having n-2 number of carbon atoms. So here in the flow chart, we can see that this is the fatty acyl coenzyme A undergoing beta oxidation. This is the beta carbon or carbon number 3, and this is the first oxidation reaction using the FAD as a coenzyme. Enzyme is acyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase to form enoyl coenzyme A first, that is a double bond is introduced. Then there is hydration of the double bond by enoyl coenzyme A hydratase to form 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A, that is a hydroxyl group is attached to the beta carbon. Then there is again oxidation of the beta carbon by 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase enzyme using NAD as the coenzyme to form 3-ketoacyl coenzyme A. A keto group is introduced in the beta carbon. Then there is cleavage at this beta carbon with the help of thiolase enzyme to form 2-carbon acetyl coenzyme A and the fatty acyl coenzyme A less than 2 carbon atoms of the original fatty acid. In this flowchart, we can see the whole process of beta oxidation of the fatty acid. First, the fatty acid is activated by the enzyme acyl coenzyme A synthetase to form acyl coenzyme A, which enters the mitochondria through the carnitine shuttle. Then acyl coenzyme A undergoes 4 sets of reactions, starting with oxidation, then a hydration, then a second oxidation, and then thiolasis, when there will be formation of acetyl coenzyme A and an acyl coenzyme A shortened by 2 carbon atoms. This acetyl coenzyme A can enter into the citric acid cycle, and this acyl coenzyme A again enters the cycle starting with oxidation, and this cycle repeats until all the carbon atoms are released as 2-carbon acetyl coenzyme. Energy yield from beta oxidation of even chain saturated fatty acids. We take the example of palmitoyl coenzyme A, which is a 16-carbon fatty acid. It undergoes 7 reaction cycles. So palmitoyl coenzyme A needs 7 FAD, 7 NAD, 7 coenzyme A, 7 molecules of water to form 8 acetyl coenzymes, 7 FADH2, 7 NADH, and 7 protons. 2.5 ATPs are generated when each of these NADH is oxidized by respiratory chain, and 1.5 ATPs are formed for each FADH2 because their electrons enter the chain at the level of coenzyme Q. Oxidation of acetyl coenzyme by TCA cycle is 10 ATPs. Therefore, number of ATPs formed in the oxidation of palmitoyl coenzyme is 10.5 ATPs from 7 FADH2 plus 17.5 ATPs from 7 NADH plus 80 ATPs from 8 molecules of acetyl coenzyme in TCA cycle, which is equal to 108 ATPs. But two high energy phosphate bonds are consumed in the activation of palmitate, in which ATP is split into AMP and inorganic pyrophosphate, which is equivalent to consumption of two molecules of ATP. Thus, net yield from complete oxidation of palmitate is 108 minus 2 equals to 106 ATPs. Oxidation of saturated fatty acids with an odd number of carbon atoms. Fatty acids with an odd number of carbon atoms are oxidized by the same pathway of beta oxidation. Its oxidation produces acetyl coenzyme A until at free carbon propionyl coenzyme A residue remains. Propionyl coenzyme A is then converted to succinyl coenzyme A constituent of the citric acid cycle. Hence, the propionyl residue from an odd-chain fatty acid is the only part of a fatty acid that is glucosinic, because via the citric acid cycle, succinyl coenzyme A can form oxaloacetate, which can form glucose. So, in this flowchart, we can see the propionyl coenzyme A is carboxylated by propionyl coenzyme A carboxylase enzyme to dimethyl malonyl coenzyme A. Then dimethyl malonyl coenzyme A is converted to L-methyl malonyl coenzyme A by the enzyme racemase. Then L-methyl malonyl coenzyme A is converted to succinyl coenzyme A by the enzyme mutase, and here the adenosyl B12 or the vitamin B12 is the coenzyme. Peroxisomal fatty acid oxidation. Peroxisomes oxidize very long-chain fatty acids having 20 to 26 carbon atoms. This process is similar to that of beta oxidation with following significant differences. The first enzyme, acyl coenzyme dehydrogenase, produces hydrogen peroxide. Catalase, the enzyme present in peroxisomes, convert hydrogen peroxide to water and molecular oxygen. Thus, this dehydrogenation in peroxisomes is not linked directly to the generation of ATP. So, in the peroxisome, the activated form of the very long chain fatty acid undergoes oxidation by acetylene acyl coenzyme dehydrogenase to form an enoyl coenzyme A, and in this process, hydrogen peroxide is produced, which is broken down by catalase enzyme to form water and oxygen. After this step, when a long chain fatty acid is reduced to a fatty acid containing 8 carbon atoms, they then leave the peroxisomes, and then they are transferred to carnitine, transported into mitochondria, and undergo complete oxidation with generation of ATP. Role of peroxisomal fatty acid oxidation. It is important for metabolism of very long chain fatty acids. It is to shorten the side chain of cholesterol in bile acid formation. It is important in the synthesis of ether lipids, for example, plasmalogens. It has a clinical application. Clofebrate, a drug used to treat certain types of hyperlipoproteinemias, stimulates proliferation of peroxisomes and causes induction of peroxisomal fatty acid oxidation system. This drug also stimulates the enzyme lipoprotein lipase. In alpha oxidation of fatty acid, oxidation occurs at alpha carbon of fatty acid, in which one carbon is removed from the carboxyl end of the fatty acid chain and released as carbon dioxide. The remaining carbons of the fatty acid can repeat the process. It does not require coenzyme A intermediates and does not generate ATP. This process occurs in brain and other nervous tissues. In alpha oxidation, oxidative decarboxylation eliminates one carbon and converts the even-numbered fatty acid to odd-numbered chains, which are constituent of complex lipids of the brain. Omega oxidation of fatty acid. Fatty acids oxidize at the omega carbon of the chain, which is a carbon farthest from the carboxyl end. This is the methyl carbon. The omega methyl group is first oxidized to an alcohol, CH2H, by hydroxylase enzyme that uses cytochrome P450, molecular oxygen, and NADPH in the endoplasmic reticulum. The alcoholic group is then oxidized to carboxylic acid by dehydrogenase enzyme and forms a dicarboxylic acid. Dicarboxylic acid then undergoes beta oxidation in mitochondria, usually to adipic and superic acids, which are excreted in urine. Regulation of beta oxidation of fatty acid in liver. Rate limiting step in beta oxidation pathway is the formation of fatty acyl carnitine catalyzed by carnitine acyl transferase 1 or CAT1. This enzyme is inhibited by malonyl coenzyme A, which is formed from acetyl coenzyme A by acetyl coenzyme carboxylase enzyme, and this is the first intermediate in fatty acid synthesis. Malonyl coenzyme A increases in concentration in well-fed state, which then inhibits CAT1 and so leads to decreasing fatty acid oxidation because we do not need energy from beta oxidation of fatty acids. In starvation, due to decreasing insulin or glucagon ratio, acetyl coenzyme carboxylase is inhibited and so concentration of malonyl coenzyme A decreases, which then releases the inhibition of CAT1 and so allowing more acyl coenzyme A to be oxidized to give us energy. In this flowchart, we can see in well-fed state, there is enough carbohydrates, so there is enough glucose to form enough pyruvate and acetyl coenzyme A, which undergoes carboxylation by acetyl coenzyme A carboxylase to form malonyl coenzyme A in the first step of fatty acid synthesis, which inhibits the enzyme CAT1, so it inhibits beta oxidation because we do not need energy from beta oxidation in well-fed state. During starvation, there is mobilization of free fatty acid from the triglyceride stores to form more amount of acyl coenzyme A. In this condition, glucagon is also secreted, which inhibits the enzyme acetyl coenzyme A carboxylase. So the concentration of malonyl coenzyme A will be decreased. So the inhibition of malonyl coenzyme A on CAT1 will be released. So it will be stimulated and beta oxidation process will be stimulated. So we get energy from the beta oxidation during starvation. Thank you for your attention.